Good afternoon and welcome to Small Business Live with me, 𝗃𝗁𝗃. I'm going to be inviting on Vanessa Buck in a short while from Vision Boards for All. And then she's going to tell us a little bit more about her business and also about vision boards, which is great timing considering that we're entering into December this week. And we all know how we like to start January with new goals. So I'm going to add Vanessa in and then we can kick off. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. A bit of a miserable day here, but yeah, at least it's warmer than yesterday, so I'm not going to complain too much.
Yes, it was pretty cold yesterday. It was very miserable this morning. I'm looking out here because that's where my window is. But we have a little bit of blue sky there, just a hint. So finding a little bit of hope with the weather in winter.
Well, November's down, so it's not long now.
Yes. Once we're past that longest day, I think January, I find for myself, is the hardest, and then it starts switching, then we can switch up.
Yeah, it's a great time to have a conversation about vision boards. So given that it's December on Thursday and everybody wants to start focusing on their January goals. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your business? I put information in the intro, but I think it's better coming from you.
So I'm the Vanessa. Thank you for having me today. And I am the creator and founder of Vision Boards for All. And I created Vision Boards for All because it can be for anyone. Often they talk about niching really down and getting specific, but mainly I will say I deal mainly with women, but I do work with young people at a charity as well, and go into people's businesses and run workshops, do one-to-ones, and anyone who wants me really. And holding that space, I think, is so important because we often are so busy doing life, taking that 5-10 couple of hours out to really kind of get lost in imagery is really powerful. One of the reasons why that is because 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual, which we really underestimate the power of that. And everything we do has an emotion and a feeling attached to it. And I don't know about you, but after Christmas we start seeing those holiday ads, and their marketing is so amazing that actually, obviously we can only relax if we go on holiday, and it just enables us to, we buy with our emotions and our feelings. So our imagery is amazing when we connect to we get out of our head and into our heart, our gut, or whatever you want to call it, our inner wisdom. And often people come thinking they're coming for their business goals, and actually they get so many other light bulb moments. And realize actually they need to tune into this bit of their life for enable them to grow that part of their life, because we aren't just our business, we are many roles that we take on, and we aren't just those roles. We are, Vanessa, we are Victoria, we are Sarah, and what do we like? And that's what's so important. We're not just mum, daughter, wife, sister, whatever roles we take on.
Yeah, that's very important, that particularly that last point there. I think people often forget who they are, and they put everything else ahead of themselves, and they have conflicting priorities. And I think even when I came from corporate, I kind of forgot that you're going to work for yourself. You kind of forget that you are actually your own individual. You're not necessarily just this corporate monkey, as I like to call them. So yeah, it's very important. In terms of vision boards, so I've done very many of them. I've done physical ones and digital ones. Is there a difference between the impact of a digital vision board versus a physical one?
I think because we are all so unique, we are all, we can all read the same book and we'll all take something different to it down to pass down beliefs and what we believe, because our beliefs are responsible for our thoughts. And the same when we cook a recipe, we will all bring our own essence to it. So for me personally, I think a digital one isn't as powerful, but for others who you might find that as powerful, I think the actual kind of experience of sitting down in a facilitated room, because I know we can all do them ourselves, but actually to have that space held for you, to cut and stick pictures that you are drawn to. I mean, we have a few worksheets and a bit of pre-work I send out, to really kind of like work out where you're at. You know, we do the life wheel, there's questions we ask, a bit of journaling, and often we don't sit there and allow ourselves to say the things that we want to, because we fear that they might not happen. When we have that space held for us and it's safe, we can kind of write that down, and from there, when we start flicking through the magazines, sometimes we're drawn to images and we don't always know why. And what we do, we say cut them out, and we have a selected amount of time, and then we start positioning them on our board. When we start to position them on our board, that's when the true magic happens, because there's only so much space. So what do we need now? What do we need this next year, this next 3 months? Because that clear vision is, you know, life's a journey. It's not just the end result. You know, we might want to be saying we want to earn 10K in our business, but we have to, it's no good getting there completely burnt out and like resentful and bitter and then want to give up. It's about trying to fulfill our cup in all areas of our life. And, you know, knowing your vision basically is your destination. It's your why. It's the why you get up in the morning. And we often always think we've got to be doing, and we must do this to do this. But sometimes, what's your version of success? Because my version will be different to yours. And if it means that having that connection, when we get that connection and that awareness, that breeds that clarity and that focus, and we start showing up for ourselves, which means we can actually then show up in all the other roles much more easier and better, and we don't get so much trapped in that comparison is the theft of joy, because we're all on our own journey as such.
Yeah, that's great. Now you've got me wanting to go and do a vision board right now.
And I think, and what we do at the end, I think what's so powerful is that we share the boards, and that's why I keep my group small. I only really try to get to about 11 is my max, really, because it's so powerful to go around the room and people share what the images mean to them and what does it, and that also then is reprogramming your neural pathways. It's starting to show you the opportunities and possibilities. So every time you look at your vision board, it will show you, you know, remind you what that feeling and where you want to go, you know, in that sense as well, and you know what it meant to you and what it does mean to you. And then when you are showing up for it, it shows you, you know, how far you've come as well when you're having a bad day or everything's going wrong. So I think it's, you know, people really underestimate the power of it, because 90% or 95% of what we do is autopilot, and if we want something different in our life, we have to do it differently. So we have to disrupt that pattern. So the vision board is that you know, that kind of destination as such, and that's why we need to keep checking in, because life happens, twists and turns happen, and then from there we can like make the plan and take the action, but then that breeds the awareness as well. So
how often would you recommend doing a vision board?
I mean, I use visuals for everything. I've even got a Christmas one here. So you know, it's like, how do I want to show up for Christmas?
Oh,
you know, but I would say once a year check in, and it doesn't have to be January. I think some people really think, I've got to get my goals set in January, and I think if we work with the seasons, sometimes January is not the best time to do it, because that's hunkering down. You know, I'd probably go against all the other people out there who are saying, yes, get your goals down. Sometimes it's about that retreating and allowing ourselves to be like nature, it's hibernating. And really then when the shoots start appearing, like February, I think personally February is the best time to do it, because we start to wake up, the nights are getting lighter, the days are getting lighter. It's not necessarily getting warmer, but we feel that nature is waking up, and I think that's when we're ready to take action. So I tend to say February is a great time. And often people get really attached to their vision boards. This last year, in November, I had a couple of people who came to my vision board course that came this year, and they said, but I'm so attached to my vision board from last year. But for us to keep moving forward, it's tweaking those little things. And they said, I'm not sure I'm going to love it as much. But actually, when they completed it, it enabled them to see, actually, wow, I've achieved everything on my vision board. From that, what I've done, I've ticked that. And now this, I can start to get excited again. I can start to get excited where I'm going next. So I think that's what's, grateful for where I am, but excited for where I'm going.
Just had a question come in for you that says, my last vision board was hand-drawn, stick figures, etc. I like that.
Yeah.
Very quickly done in the past 18 months. 95% of it has materialized. Would you recommend using this method again?
If it worked for you, absolutely. I think it's some people will do it through journaling. They get those light bulb moments. Some people will, and that's exactly it. Vision board can be, when I show examples, they can be also in a planner. They can, more like a journal. They can check in every month and stick a picture in of how they want to feel in, because what we want to feel in September often is different to July. July, we want to feel free and be out in nature, and we might be pushing a little bit more. In winter, we might want to be reading and reflecting and, lighting candles. So I think, it is about going with life's twists and turns, and having that synergy in a sense, because I think sometimes we can get so focused on that we miss out on great opportunities that are waving over here, in a sense, saying, well, actually I'm over here and I'm quite good over here. So it's really, the images are there to inspire you, to motivate you, to give you that clarity and that focus. So if the stick pictures are working for you, yeah, carry on.
Yeah. Wow. Some more evidence of the vision boards working. So Vanessa, what made you decide that you wanted to start your own business?
Well, I have run my own beauty business for 25 years. When I had my young family, they work, as most mums find, that actually the corporate world doesn't fit family life. And I'd always done part-time in the evening beauty, and that was the opportunity to make that break. But I did it wrong. I let my business control me rather than I control it. So I kept not listening to my whispers that were telling me to rest, and got ill and all sorts of things, but kept pushing. And all of a sudden, when your family then are no longer young and they're then teenagers, I was a bit resentful for my business. I'd had injuries for working too long hours, and knew that something needed to change and I needed to do it differently. And it was my experience of going on a vision board workshop that actually helped me kind of stop and reflect. At the time, it was very much done holistically, the vision board, not very goal specific. She just said, just pick pictures and stick them on and it will happen, in a sense. And for me, that I knew there was more to it, because I came away, thought, well, I don't know what this means, but I knew it had sowed a seed. And from there, I took time to reflect and kept looking at it. And I just knew it was about connection with myself. And then lockdown happened, and it gave me the opportunity to do lots of various different courses, like life coaching and stuff like that. But I knew I didn't want to be a life coach, but I kept coming back to vision boards. And so I created my own methodology and took the essence from how it works, and kind of brought my own kind of spin on it, in a sense. And now I've seen for myself, you know, 2-3 years down the line, you know, the difference it's made, and people come back to me all the time saying, oh my gosh, I've achieved this. It can be done for self-love, it can be done if you're grieving, it can be done, you know, when I work with charities, sometimes it can be helping them find hope again after a very bad experience. So it isn't just about business goals, it's about that connection with, you know, what we need. I think it's a gentle way, and it's a start, it's the, you know, it's the seed, and then from there the roots can grow, and, you know, we can begin to flourish. And it might be from there that you will need to go and have more you know, hypnotherapy or NLP or something, or if it's particular fitness, you might want to hire that, you know, fitness coach. But it sows the seed and it gets you on that right path, because so many times life happens, doesn't it? And you suddenly think, and that's what happened to me, how did I end up here, and who is Vanessa, and what does she like? And so it enables me to show up for what I do like now. You know, I will make sure I do things that I enjoy and add myself in the mix, rather than put myself, you know, under my cleaning the oven, for example, you know, one of the worst jobs in the world.
So if you were to start again, what is one thing that you wish you had been told before you started your business?
I think because it was completely different business, Vision Boards for All, I didn't know what it was going to really look like. I was at first just sharing the positivity of how it helped me, and it was Weight Watchers approached me when they were online more and asked me to do a little session, and I thought, well, I'd never thought of doing something online, and 208 people turned up, and it was really well received. And so from there I thought, oh, you know, I've got an opportunity here to spread it to a wider audience, not just in my local area. And so I think the thing that I would say is, comparison is the theft of joy. Someone else's journey is, you know, there's lots of reasons why they're there, and I think there was a lot of struggle, like, oh gosh, I'm doing it wrong. And I think it's okay to make mistakes and find your way. You know, there is obviously a strategy, but also being true and aligned to what works for you. And I think that's where I would stay. You know, there's lots of advice out there and it's amazing, but cherry pick. Again, it's your version, it's your business. And if it's not working, you know, be open to see possibilities and change.
This is a big lesson. I think when I came out of corporate, it was like, you kind of thinking, well, this is the business I planned and this is the business I must do. And because it's always, that's the way I've planned it, forgetting that it's your business and you can change it at any point and adapt to what works for you. And so I think it's a important lesson that we have to all learn the hard way.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that anyone learns it any other way, does it?
No, it doesn't seem to be any other way to learn it. I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody online and saying, like, this is your business. She's going, am I allowed to do this? It's your business. You can do whatever you want with it. So I think we've go and work in corporate roles and we become almost indoctrinated into this is somebody else's business and we have to do things in a certain way, but now it's our business, we get to make all the rules. So
yes,
which is
I think we forget that, and we are the CEO of our life. We get a chance to hire and fire, you know, beliefs, certain emotions, you know, certain behaviors, you know, whatever it is. Actually that's no longer serving me. I mean, how many times do we, you know, carry something around, I call it rocks in your backpack, you know, through our 20s, 30s and 40s. I think, why am I still carrying this belief? I don't need to have this anymore. So I think, that's what I would say. Hire and fire anything that you don't need.
So, and then we were talking about your workshops and things. How does that work, and how do people get to work with you? What are your packages at the moment?
So I tend to I'm very open this year, my next year is all about collaboration, working with other organizations and other business owners to go and go into online communities, or, you know, in person retreats, that kind of thing, because I think it adds so many different layers to people's, you know, being able to bring other people's expertise, in a sense, to the, you know, a retreat or a day. So that's what I'd like to do next year. I run workshops online, and if people say, oh, I'm ready for it, if I can get 3 or 4 people, I'll just run one. But I do have set times. So I will be running one in probably January and February, because some people do like January and February. I haven't set the days exactly. I was kind of seeing where it's so noisy online, isn't it? And it's very hard to get your message out. And I just obviously have done 2 in November, an online one on the Saturday and an in-person one on the Sunday. And I realized actually that was a bit much, so I need to spread it out a little bit. If people can gather 4 or 5 people, I'm happy to run what I call a vision board, in a sense, party, or I work one-to-one. So I just would say reach out to me, because there might be other people saying, oh, I'm ready. And if I can see that interest, I'm happy to, run workshops, rather than the push and the struggle to say, right, we are doing one on this day, and try to get people on that.
Okay, and people can reach out to you through Instagram. You happy with that?
Yeah, Instagram. So I'm under Vision Boards for All, which comes up. I've obviously got my website, visionboardsforall.co.uk. I'm also on Facebook. All the links are in my bio. I've also got a little Facebook group, Make It Happen. So I kind of put people, I might say, is there someone ready for a workshop? And obviously in that group, we hold, not every month, but a little Zoom session where we do 6 questions, where we really just get, we have a little bit of a poem, we have a little bit of a kind of visualization at the end. So it just helps people to have that monthly reflect and reset. Because with my planner, I've got a monthly reset section there with the Wheel of Life. And with that, it helps sometimes remind us what we want when life does have that habit of taking over. And, you know, do we need to just think a little bit different? Do we need to show up a little bit different? You know, what are we grateful for? Where are we at now? So by having that chance to hold that space for that hour Zoom, they're only like about £5, you know, and they kind of go in for my group. So that's Make It Happen, Let's Dream Big, which you'll see in my Instagram bio. So people can find me all sorts of places.
Oh, that's great. And I will also put it into the show notes, and especially on YouTube, there'll be links to it when it goes out there as well. So, but people can find you through the links on my Instagram as well. So, so is there any, do you have any lead magnets, anything on offer at the moment that you want to share? Or
Yes. So again, in my Instagram bio, I do have a 5 ways to kickstart your dream life, and it's using the acronym of DREAM. And I think when D stands for, you know, your desires, your, you know, what do you really, we don't often allow ourselves to dream big because we don't think it's going to happen. Our brain is wired to keep us safe. So it allows you to kind of put it all on there, brain dump, without any kind of outcome or tying any outcome to it. And I think it's just allowing yourself to spill it out, because when we spill it out, that's when we start to find, oh, deep down, that's really what I want. So D is for design and your desires. R is for reconnecting, reimagining, repurposing, whatever you want to call it, but really reconnecting with your life. E is about the energy we bring and the experiences, because we never fail, we just learn. We often think, oh gosh, I've done that, we tell ourselves off, but every experience shows us what we do want and what we don't want. So, and it's then coming from that right energy, because what we concentrate is on what we see. So where energy goes, energy flows. So if we're frustrated and angry and disappointed, that's all we're going to see, and that's a low energy vibe. So we want to get into that, being grateful for where we are now, and being grateful for what we have, because then we see more things we're grateful for. A is for like taking the action and being really aligned with that action, because actually often we might say, oh, I'd love to live in a, I don't know, a mansion on a private estate, but actually every action has a consequence. What would you have to do for that? Well, I'd have to go and work more hours. I might have to work in London. Well, I don't want to do that. So it's then really tuning into, you know, being completely aligned, because we can't separate our head, our heart and our gut. It just doesn't work. We have to, you know, that's when we get that disconnect. And M is for motivation. At the end of the day, when we might start with motivation, it's a bit, if we were saying we were going to run a marathon, we would start at the beginning, but in the middle we'd lose that motivation. And it's being able to show up for ourselves no matter what. How am I going to be able to show up when the time's tough? And then at the end, naturally, when we start to see results, we can start to be more motivated again. And S is about success. Celebrate our successes, no matter how small they are. So that's a little freebie that I have in there. And I have my planner, which you will obviously see in there. It's the one step at a time planner, because we're not Amazon. We can't just click the button and it just happens. We have to take time, and it has a little vision board. I put mine in here, and my quote in here is, never give up on a dream because of the time it will take to accomplish it, as time will pass anyway. So finding your quote, your mantra. And then we've got like yearly planner and you know, I want to achieve this dream because, so it's a little bit of journaling. It's basically it's an aid for building and maintaining that perfect vision through a mixture of, like, obviously journaling and planning goal strategies, and it has that monthly reflection tool, which I was talking about, to kind of show you where you're at. And you, every quarter, it's got an opportunity for you to plan that 3 months and break it down. So yeah, so that's all there.
Is it an annual planner?
It can be started anytime, because it's got it's not dated. So that's what's so lovely about it. If someone got it for their birthday in March, they can start it in March. It's got affirmations and, you know, priorities, weekly goals. You can use it as a journal, you can use it as a gratitude diary, or you can actually write it and date it as your diary as you would. Nice. So, and
where's that available? Is that on your website?
Yes,
Amazon?
That's on my website as well.
Okay.
Which is, it's that opportunity for taking that one step at a time and being, you know, grateful. And when you start seeing that, actually, when you think on those days we suddenly think, God, I'm just not getting anywhere, you can look back and think, actually, no, I have. Look, you know, look at my positive habits I've already achieved. And that again reprograms those neuro pathways, because all our decisions actually come from our subconscious, not our conscious mind. So it's kind of, you know, I think it's something like 5% of our patterns and behaviors are just from our conscious mind. So that's why, who's making our decisions? It's our powerhouse subconscious. So it's becoming aware of that.
Right. Well, Vanessa, thank you very much for your time. It's been very informative, and like I say, I'm excited to go into a vision board now. So thank you very much for sharing that, and I will, like I say, update the show notes that people can get hold of you and book some vision board sessions in with you. And thank you for taking the time to speak to me.
Thank you for having me, and do tag me in your vision board, because I'd love to see people's vision boards and I can share them, because once they're out there, it's, you know, it's out there in the bigger world and the universe, and it will happen.
Great, that's good news. Thank you. Thanks, Vanessa. Have a great Christmas.
And you. Bye.
Bye.